Well, when I was here at BMCC, first of all, I joined the faculty here in 1980. And I joined as an assistant professor. A friend of mine mentioned to me that there was an opening at BMCC because they were moving from the Midtown campuses to this new building, which had yet been constructed. And they were going to have a television studio, and they didn't know what in the world they wanted to produce. At that time, Sony had just invented the 3/4-inch tape deck, which made it easier for the corporate people to begin using video. So I came down and I met with Doris Neuberger, who was the chairperson of the Speech, Communication, Theater Arts Department. And we decided that we should give it a try. And so I was hired and sent out in the field to get documentation from various corporations, like Revlon and Avon and the people that I had been producing things for, and to justify the need in the marketplace. Based on that, we started developing the program. And I wrote the courses, I guess the one course was the Introduction to Media Applications, which covered all the span, not only video, and then non-broadcast television, which we called our video production course. The communication students, which we were really a tight-knit group. You were a CCC major. You were one of the people that were going to be, the next big director of film or video. On 2 occasions, I took groups of these people to California, to the media workshops at UCLA. These are kids who never even saw the west side of the Hudson River, let alone going to the West Coast. My first trip was in 1987, and we raised the money to do that. This was not financed by the college at all. I think maybe there was some kind of a stipend that maybe the college gave, but it was minor. So we raised enough money to take, I think we had 22 students in that first trip. We stayed in the dorms on the UCLA campus. They got to see a campus that they had never seen before. They got to visit all sorts of media. They got to visit the major studios, Universal, behind the scenes, not out with a tourist tour. They got to go to USC and see the filmmaking operation at USC. Coming back from UCLA with all their experiences, we went to work doing some treatments. One of them was for the FAA. So I got the idea, hey, I wonder whether the FAA might want to do a project concerning air safety. Went out to meet the local director out in Kennedy Airport. I said, well, do you have any money for us to do a treatment? Then we can sell the idea to the various funders. He said, well, we don't have any money to do a treatment, but he said, if you have a writer, I can give him an office space, make him a temporary employee of the FAA, give him the typewriter in the office and whatever else to help, and let him write it, and we'll pay him a salary to do that. And that's what we did. So we did a thing called Nothing Left to Chance. We did the treatment. We were invited to a big conference in Washington, D.C. The director took me around and said, this is a great program, and that's how it came about. So we shot 9 days in and around New York, MacArthur Airport, Kennedy Airport, Newark Airport, Miami, and we used 2 BMCC students to help do that. It turned out to be a great project. It aired on local television. It aired on one of the cable channels. It aired on WNYC, on CUNY, and so on and so on and so on. If you really want to excel in the media field, go to BMCC. A lot of students can't afford Columbia. They don't have scholarships, and they certainly can't afford NYU. And any of the other big universities. So, and a lot of them also are not qualified. But we have, this is like the Statue of Liberty, giving your tired and poor. I was here just this past April for the first time since I retired 9 years before. And so in the 9 years since I'd been gone, I was just blown away by the technology and the changes, because of course, they gave me a tour of the facility as it exists today, the studio and the editing suites. And the technology is digital, it's different, it's, 2-inch quad tape no longer exists, the rust is on the decks, and it's just amazing what these kids are learning. Let's face it, the motion picture industry, the communications industry, the acting industry, it's all risk. It's all rejection. And just, if you can just think about, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? They'll say no. So what? Next, I have this musical background. I've been singing with little groups for years in the Catskills in Miami. And also, I was with a big band in New Jersey just about only 10 years ago. And enjoy music very much. I have a vast collection of vinyl records, as well as a zillion CDs now. So I do a 2-hour show. I do it the first and a third Sunday of each month. And I have listeners all over the country. My brother, who's a retired Air Force colonel, lives in Germany, and he listens to my show. Desmond, one of the former faculty members here, who's in London, he listens to the show. It's a station that's also funded completely by the listeners. We do our fund drives 2-3 times a year to keep the station going, and we bring the programming is eclectic. I mean, you have got all kinds of programming, talk shows, liberal shows, no conservative shows, not that I know of, and at any rate, all kinds of shows, music shows, people who are interested in the ecology of the country, you name it. And so we air all of these things, jazz shows as well. Well, if you'd like to listen to my show, just go to Berkshire Radio, BERKSHIRE, berkshireradio.org, and you can stream it. Great. That's their website. That's the station's website.